Hey everybody, Josh Sigurdson, World Alternative Media here, and today we're going to be talking about fake news. Now, remember this young man and the viral meme that spread everywhere regarding a young kid from Covington school, a Catholic school named Nick Sandmann, who was allegedly harassing a Native American elder and Black Israelites and attacking them. Well, of course, he has a MAGA hat on. Of course, he's doing... No, well, that's not exactly the case. And almost immediately after, some major mainstream media networks like CNN, Washington Post, and many virtue signaling celebrities started attacking this young kid, claiming that he was racist, a bigot, all sorts of stuff like that, just because they saw an image and literally had no context. Of course, again, he had a MAGA hat on. Obviously, he was doing terrible things. Almost immediately after the story broke, it had come out that he was essentially innocent, and you can see this article back from February 2019 that says investigators for diocese say Kentucky students did not initiate confrontation, and I'll go into just a short blurb here. It says, and I quote, "Our students were placed in a situation that was at once bizarre and even threatening," Diocese of Covington Bishop Roger Foys said in a letter to parents this week. Their reaction to the situation was, given the circumstances, expected and one might even say laudatory. The firm hired by Diocese Greater Cincinnati Investigation concluded that students made no offensive or racist statements to either Phillips or a group of Black Hebrew Israelites, and that they didn't perform a build-the-wall chant. Investigators said they came to these conclusions after interviewing over 40 students and more than a dozen faculty and parent chaperones, as well as reviewing footage from all major news networks as well as YouTube and Vimeo. The lawyer for Nick Sandmann, the teenager in the red MAGA hat who responded to Phillips chanting with an impenetrable smile, condemned the media for rushing to judgment. And I quote, "Every member of the mainstream media and social media mob who falsely attacked, disparaged, or threatened this 16-year-old boy should hang their heads in shame and be held fully accountable in a court of law for their wrongdoing," attorney Lynn Wood told the New York Times. Wood has said that Phillips will be sued for lies and false accusations about Sandmann. In a statement after the incident, Sandmann said that he didn't feel like he was blocking Phillips' path and that it was clear that Phillips had singled me out for a confrontation. Phillips told NPR that the statement was a young man trying to alter his story to make himself look good. But again, the outrage mobs that are fueled by the media to divide us under the guise of stopping division, sickening Orwellian as it might be, once again are proven wrong. And there is a success story coming out of this, as this article here says. Breaking: Covington Catholic student Nick Sandmann gets settlement from CNN after $275 million lawsuit. Well, isn't that interesting? I'm going to go into it a bit more later, but isn't it interesting that people in the independent media are being attacked so heavily by YouTube, ourselves seeing a drop in viewership of almost 90% now since January of 2019, and demonetization up to about 97% for apparently inciting violence. For example, talking to Richard Gage, an architect and engineer, about physics. Apparently that's inciting hatred and violence. Or talking about the monetary system. Apparently that's anti-Semitism, even though we never mentioned Judaism or Zionism or anything. We just talk about the issue at hand. Apparently that is okay. It's okay for them to censor us and attack us for that. Bring in new policies at YouTube under their terms of service, saying that even attacking public figures can be considered not only hate speech, but also punishable by your account being taken down, your life getting ripped to shreds. You can't tell the news anymore because apparently, unless you're mainstream media, you are a terrible person that's bullying people. It's so crazy. Well, here we have the mainstream media attacking an underage kid and seeing an image and making assumptions and trying to get hate mobs going and people angry at each other, divisive. People are all attacking, saying this side of the story, that side of the story, when no one was there and no one saw the situation. And now we have all this news coming all 100% together. And it's interesting, as this article says, Covington Catholic high school student Nick Sandmann reportedly has received a settlement from CNN after suing the far-left network for smearing him last year, as this Daily Wire article says. And I quote, CNN agreed Tuesday to settle a lawsuit with Covington Catholic student Nick Sandmann, Fox 19 reported. The amount of the settlement was not made public during a hearing at the federal courthouse in Covington. Sandmann also filed lawsuits against the Washington Post and NBC Universal, each for $250 million or over, and is reportedly planning to sue Gannett, owners of the Inquirer. Sandmann attorneys Todd McMurtry and Lynn Wood filed a $275 million lawsuit against CNN in March of last year in the U.S. District Court for the Eastern District of Kentucky. And I quote, CNN was probably more vicious in its direct attacks on Nicholas than the Washington Post, and CNN goes into millions of individuals' homes, Wood told Fox News' Mark Levin last year. And I quote, CNN couldn't resist the idea that here's a guy with a young boy that Make America Great Again cap on, so they go after him. And I quote, they really went after Nicholas with the idea that he was part of a mob that was attacking the Black Hebrew Israelites, yelling racist slurs at Black Hebrew Israelites. Totally false, Wood continued. Now, you say you've seen the tape. If you took the time to look at the full context of what happened that day, Nicholas Sandmann did absolutely nothing wrong. He was, as I've said to others, he was the only adult in the room. In an interview on Fox News last year, McMurtry told anchor Sandra Smith, well, what CNN's tagline is, facts first. And what we believe their reporting was in this circumstance was lies first, cover up second, and facts not yet determined by the organization. So the difference between this lawsuit and the other lawsuits that we have filed is that CNN is a very significant media organization with a much broader reach than, say, the Washington Post. It has a Twitter following 41 million people. It has published 4 videos, 9 online articles that were tweeted out. So that's millions and millions and millions of repetitions of the lies and falsehoods that CNN spread. And I quote, well, we've talked about the impact on Nicholas Sandmann a number of times, and it is significant, McMurtry continued. Nicholas Sandmann was a 16-year-old man who had a perfect reputation. He was loved by his parents, respected at his school, and had many good friends at Covington Catholic High School. So he was a person that was doing very well in life, and due to his strong character, he still is. But nevertheless, his character has now been determined by the lies issued by CNN. So the facts were not first, the lies were. In early February, Sandmann's lawyers released a list of 54 individuals and news organizations that they sent letters to instructing them to preserve evidence for potential lawsuits. The list includes, and you could see Washington Post, New York Times, cable news networks, CNN, you could see The Guardian, all these, TMZ, all the usual suspects, including people like S.E. Cupp and Aaron Burnett, and I think you could get the point. You could see a whole bunch of things here. You can't forget Joy Reid and Chuck Todd and all those fun people. Jim Carrey, Alyssa Milano, Kathy Griffin, Elizabeth Warren. There we go. Anyway, let's go into this issue because it's getting a lot of commentating online. A lot of people are talking about it, as Sebastian Gorka says, revenge is a dish best served cold. Bravo, Nick. So what I find interesting about this situation is, I mean, they jumped to conclusions. They wanted to create a race situation under the guise of, standing up against racism. They created a racist situation. Not only did they spread false news about that Nathan Phillips guy, as it turned out a lot of crazy stuff came out about him. You can go into older videos about that. But also, not only did they do that, they also attacked a 16-year-old kid, and he got death threats from countless people, including celebrities. I mean, this kid, imagine what kind of lawsuit we'd be seeing, not that it would matter at that point, but what kind of lawsuit we'd be seeing if he would have taken his own life. I mean, this is a level of bullying that has led to a lot of people taking their own lives. I mean, luckily the kid's strong. I might not agree with him politically, but look, he was out at a protest at the Lincoln Memorial, and he was confronted by people and attacked by people. He smiled. All he did was smile. It shows strength of character. People take pictures and a video. The pictures go viral. People make assumptions over pictures. They see a Native American. They see a white kid with a MAGA hat on. They go, oh, white kid racist, Native American in the right. And then they go on CNN, all these so-called reputable news networks that are complete trash and absolutely fake news and have perpetuated war and destruction around the world with their propaganda, being involved in government programs, etc. And they go and bully a 16-year-old kid. And, you know, it's interesting because you see right now Alex Jones and Paul Joseph Watson are dealing with lawsuits regarding Sandy Hook. Well, what about CNN? Well, now you see CNN lose or settle this lawsuit because they know that they were in the wrong. And what's next? There's probably going to be more mainstream medias that are going to have to pay out, and good for this kid because, I mean, they just destroyed his reputation. I remember just immediately, moments after that picture went viral, people were going on long SJW rants about how terrible this kid is and that we need to eradicate people like this, even kill people like this, inciting violence. And what CNN did was incite violence and harassment against an individual based on race and political identity. I mean, why does anyone take these mainstream media seriously anymore? I mean, it's sick what they did to this kid. So now we have this lawsuit go through, and now we're seeing many more come up on the horizon. And, you know, you hear all this stuff from these virtue signaling celebrities. We all watched Ricky Gervais' Golden Globes monologue the other day, just ripping apart the elitists in Hollywood. They have absolutely no idea what regular everyday life is, and they have the balls to stand or sit on their high horse and lecture the masses, the peasants, on what it's like to be poor and disadvantaged and underprivileged. It's so messed up, the mentality. It's pretty much Orwellian. And, you know, all this false news coming out of these media networks because they love creating order out of chaos. That's what it's all about. Divide everyone against each other so they're all distracted, hating each other, rather than looking at the real enemy, driving them against each other as these elites twiddle their fingers and laugh and, you know, cheer as they sip the wine and watch the peasants, war with each other. So I'm going to go into this story further later on as it elapses. I had to do something on this because, I mean, this is just a perfect example of how sick and demented the mainstream media really is, while attacking people like us in independent media and trying to reject our ability to speak out and spread information freely on the internet. People left mainstream media because of garbage like this, moved to things like YouTube, and now YouTube is being taken over by those same entities, and almost every suggested video these days is mainstream media. You can type in the name of one of our videos with World Alternative Media on it, won't find it even if it has 100,000 views, but you'll find a CNN video with 500 views from 6 weeks ago that isn't even directly related. I mean, it's just become ThemTube, as Dan Dixa Press for Truth calls it, and we need to call that out and move on to other platforms like float.app, flote.app. Enough of this divisive mind control. That's what it is, mind control. It's further indoctrination after the state-run camps, or in whatever you call them, schools, I guess, public schools. Is that what they call them? It goes from that to the mainstream media and just stupefies people, makes them weak, more dependent, and then more easily able to be controlled. And that's what it's all about at the end of the day. So don't fall for it. Don't be a slave. Stop regurgitating talking points and start having your own ideas and mindset. Break free from the indoctrination and propaganda, especially as they push war with countries overseas that you've never been to, never seen, never experienced, as millions have died because of what the mainstream media has perpetuated and propagated onto the public just in the last 20 years alone. It's sick. It's demented. It doesn't matter if it's left or right. It's all garbage, controlled opposition against each other so that everyone stays subservient and within the same collectivist timelines, attacking each other forever, perpetually, until they are consumed by the beast that they've ignored. So anyway, I appreciate everyone watching. Make sure to check those links below. Help us out. Give us a like. Tell us what you think below the video. Comment below what you think of this case. We appreciate any comments we can get, and share the video. And of course, just think about pledging to us and helping keep independent media alive, because we will not be on YouTube much longer, and we are trying to get as many people over to float.app, that's flote.app, at Josh Sigurdson, as well as at Wham, as well as BitChute and all these other platforms. So please join us over there as much as you can. You know, we are coming to an end here. I'm selling everything I own and moving to the other side of the world, homeless as a nomad, so I can continue bringing you guys videos, because YouTube has bankrupted us. And you know what? I never give up. I do not negotiate with terrorists. Anyway, I appreciate everyone joining, and until next time, this is Josh Sigurdson signing out from World Alternative Media. Find the truth, be the change. Like what you see here at Wham, don't forget to check the links below. GoFundMe, Patreon. We cannot do it without you guys. Every donation is extremely, extremely appreciated, as we're getting incredibly shadow banned. We've lost 80% of our audience since January of 2019 and counting. They are ripping us apart here on YouTube, and the only thing we could do in the meantime, as we prepare for the next big step, is to ask for help from the viewers that support our free information that we try to post on a daily basis. You can also find us on Subscribestar, where just $1 a month, that's all it takes, $1 a month is all it takes to truly make a huge difference. If everyone gave $1 a month, it would change everything for independent media, and we could win this information war, and we can defeat the mainstream medias eventually. And of course, on Subscribestar, we post subscriber-only content that you'll only see on Subscribestar. So make sure to pledge there, become a patron. That makes a huge difference, guys. And also, don't forget to check out our Bitcoin address below in the comments and description, as well as on the screen for you to scan, if you please. And also, don't forget to subscribe to us on the alternatives. We will likely be deleted by YouTube in the next 2 years. It's already happening on a vast scale, so make sure to find us on float.app, that's flote.app, at Josh Sigurdson, as well as at Wham, W-A-M. Float.app is replacing every social media, and I mean, it's just incredible the opportunities it provides for not just creators, but for the average person who wants to get away from these nannies telling them what they can or cannot see. They plan to replace Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Twitch, Tumblr, Reddit, and Patreon. You could subscribe to us on Float and pledge with cryptocurrency. It's really innovative. We are also on BitChute at World Alternative Media, as well as so many others, Minds, PocketNet. You can find us at World Alternative Media on Instagram. There's many options. And finally, don't forget to join us at Anarchapulco 2020, the famous event, the best liberty event known to mankind, other than perhaps Anarcho Vegas 2020. There are 2 major events coming up that we are extremely excited about, and you can use promo code WHAM, that's W-A-M, and save 10% on your tickets to these legendary conferences. There's so many amazing people speaking there. You won't want to miss it. So make sure to support in any way you can, even if it's just sharing our videos, pressing like, pressing to be notified. Anything helps, folks. You are the change you wish to see. Thanks for watching, everyone. And until next time, this is Josh Sigurdson signing out from World Alternative Media. Find the truth, be the change.
I'm sure you have already changed people's minds in your young age because you're involved, and I like that.
Bye.